Hello, my friends. This is Dr. M. I am supporting you with intermediate microeconomics, and we are finalizing our discussion on make or buy decision, which stems from revolutionized consumer theory that people don't demand just goods, but rather they demand the services that those goods provide. So that brings us to an interesting dilemma that people face. Should they make things on their own, or should they buy those at the marketplace? Should you make ice cream at home by yourself from scratch, or should you buy the ice cream from the marketplace? And this is type of a decision that is very interesting, economically driven. It has its own associated costs and benefits, and I'd like to massage this within this video presentation a little bit more. So we introduced A, or alpha, as a technical coefficient. And in fact, alpha represents how much services of Zi you consume from consumption of Xi, which may vary across individuals. Now, I'm about to say something that is very profound, and we will have to unfold this further. The amount of alpha, or coefficient A, that is in front of you, determining the amount of Zi that you can extract from consumption of Xi, is directly related to human capital that a particular individual has. So, if you have a lot of human capital, your alpha or A coefficient is going to be large, and idiots have alpha or A coefficient that is very small. Let's go to the coefficient that is related to beta in terms of time, how much time it takes to consume Zi. So human capital in this case becomes a very key component as to first, it's heterogeneous, it varies across individuals. And in fact, watching this presentation, you are enhancing your human capital for a simple reason, because you want to enjoy or know the ways to enjoy a greater amount of services that different goods provide. And you want to be efficient when it comes to timing. All right, so now I'm going to get a little bit more formal. Don't be intimidated by this notation. So the formality comes from the fact that there are multiple ways how you can get services from Xi, and some of them are subject to idiosyncratic parameters change. So what you have in front of you is on the top line Zi, the amount of services that you can extract from consumption of any good, is the function of alpha, technical coefficient, times a particular good that you find in the marketplace. So that's the one part. The second line represents, on the left-hand side, expenditures, and on the right-hand side, sources of income. So let's take it line by line. Price times Xi is the expenditures that you have that you have incurred with your cash when you buy certain goods. But in your mind, you have to remember that people buying flow of services. They're not interested in goods. Goods ownership is a nuisance. Then you add to this expenditure timing. Because timing is directly related, or should I say the value of timing directly related to the wage rate, I have T times W, which is the wage rate. So you have cash expenditures, it's the first part of the bottom equation, and then you have a second part, time expenditures. So consumption of any good now for us represents two types of expenditures: money expenditures and time expenditures. Now it all equals, all those expenses have to be added up and equal to time that you spend total when you work, that's your source of income, times wage rate, plus G. G would be amount of unearned income. It could be inheritance, it could be Christmas gifts, it could be anything of that nature. And finally, we are ready to introduce the full price model in this case, and voila, that looks quite beautiful, isn't it? So you have alpha coefficient on the top as a top part of the equation, and it is proportionally related to, in inverse way, with A. Then you have another coefficient beta that is proportionally related in inverse way to B. And then you have a second line from the bottom that has a Greek letter pi. Greek letter pi basically is equal to technical coefficient alpha times price of a good. And watch now here, no more xi, zi plus technical coefficient beta times w as a wage rate and times zi again. So you have a full price model that expressly demonstrating to you that people are no longer interested in consumption of goods, but services that are proportionally related to technical coefficient alpha and beta. And on the bottom line, we have factoring out zi because it shows up in both parts, and it's just going to simplify our equation model. So let me run this home. Let's do the home run with a couple of applications as you are puzzlingly looking at this monster. Let's do banking example. Banking example provides different services. And by the way, are people interested in money? No. People are interested in the services the money provides. And do people want to use ATMs? No. They want money. They want the services that the ATM provides. So you get the idea. But let me think about a question of this nature. I noticed that older individuals, mostly those who are retired, when they go to the bank, they drive big cars and they struggle to park those big cars. They slowly get out of this car, they go into the bank, they strike a conversation about the weather, about politics, about anything else with the teller, and they just enjoying, looks like, every minute of it. On the other hand, if you take a young person, maybe a young student, who rarely goes inside the bank, inside the building, but rather is using telebanking, internet technology, making deposits, withdrawals, paying bills, everything is online. So that begs the question, how do banks cater to different clients? Because as you see, to provide services, the same type of services over internet is much less expensive than to provide similar services at the branch, brick and mortar bank, where they have to pay for upkeep of the building, to have a security there, and it's just more complicated and more expensive. So banks come up with this strategy. They penalize based on age. If you are within a certain category of aging, let's say you are in your 20s, then the maximum number of times that you can use the teller is 2 per month. Anything above that, you'll have to pay the fee. They can't and they don't do the same with somebody who is retired. And not because retired people are stupid, but because they have a different set of human capital. That's the answer. They have the different set of human capital, and that determines their skill level to use internet banking versus doing it physically when they walk in the branch. I'm going to expand this discussion a little bit further. You can buy a gallon of milk from the gas station, and the same gallon of milk you can buy at the grocery store, Walmart, Target, and other stores. It's very likely that the same milk came from the same cow. In fact, I used to go to the farm to buy raw milk, and my friend who was the dairy farmer, he explained to me how he did the deliveries, and it led me to conclude that it's very likely that some gas stations sell the same milk from the same cow as some stores. However, the pricing is different, my friends. Where would you expect to pay more? Here's the question. Where would you expect to pay more for a gallon of milk? At the gas station or at the big grocery store? So if you want to pause this video and think about this, it will help you a ton to think through this material. Now, the answer is it depends. Because Walmart, Target, and other big stores, they sell inexpensive money price but high time cost milk and other items compared to gas station. Because at the gas station you will likely pay higher money price but less time cost, since you don't have to stay in line as you would at the big grocery store. So who is more interested to pay higher money price, and who is more interested to pay higher time price? That is a fascinating question that we are going to discuss in next video. Thank you, my friends, for your patience, and have a very healthy day.